Okay, after another community post, you guys have taught me, you guys have told me that it's time to rank all the BFB pre-split episodes. I love pre-split, my favorite. If it wasn't for post-split, it would be my favorite season. Let's just get into the video. So, first off, this is the shortest episode of BFB, but also almost the whole series. And this episode has the same problem that BFDIA 3 did by just being so short, there isn't even much of a story to tell in the end. So first off, the sound in this video is really bad for some reason, like the kind of bad where your ears hurt after listening to it, and it's very apparent while hearing X talk.
Actually, when you multiply them, I ran away because I got scared. I've been hiding ever since, but you found me.
Okay, well, I'm really tired of this whole hosting thing. Here you go. You've done this before. You'll do great. Bye.
And just talking about him, I don't like X that much. I prefer 4 over him, along with Donut, which is my favorite host of BFB. And replacing Donut with X was just not a good decision. I don't like X that much, as I said. That was annoying, and then the elimination was mid. It was so quick. I don't really care if it was for April Fools. Like, it wasn't even a good prank. And then every team got like 20 seconds each. So they didn't even get to do anything. And then Beep just got out, and there was like nothing in this episode. And if it wasn't for the fact that BFB episodes used to come out in under a month, I would really dislike this episode. But credit is due where it's due.
You did this! It's time.
Okay, to clarify, this episode's way better than BFB 9. We have, as I said, BFB 3. This episode is actually pretty enjoyable. Pretty nice, great episode. But the problem with most things is that is decent, but I just didn't like most of the things in the episode, and I wish they did a little bit more. And also, this started the Taco book arc, which ended well, but just for the entirety of BFB post-split, pre-split, it was just not that good, and was pretty stupid, and the challenge was pretty boring, since people just spun around a few times. A lot of people just copy ideas. It was very generic. The only interesting parts were when Taco's breaking through and Donut's beautiful speech. Those are highlights, and Bleh won, and they would never be up for elimination for a very long time. And just overall, pretty okay episode. And I like how early, like the early pre-split just had a different feel to it. Good episode.
I love my Earth.
Now, I actually used to really like this episode for some reason, but upon rewatching, it's really mid. Really mid. With the only thing saving it being some of its great standout moments for animation and Beep's story, since they were like the main characters. I really like Beep this episode. Though it is a little bit strange, I still like Beep interacting, which we don't get to see much of the episode prior, or really ever. But besides that, we only got to see a little bit of the other teams, but in the end, it was pretty boring. But yeah, it still has a special place in my heart, because I just loved it so much in the past. But yeah, good episode, but definitely below average. Okay, I know a lot of people would put this as their bottom pick, but I actually really liked this episode. But as much as I love this episode, it was kind of bad looking back on it from a show aspect, which is why I have to bring it down a little bit. And so, yeah, most people wouldn't like it that much, but for me, it has a special place in my heart because I like the challenge of them being in the sky and how the time was actually something we'd never seen before. It was like after sunset, which reminds me of the BFB or BFDI is back video. It reminded me of that, like the backgrounds in that one, and I love the backgrounds. It's very pretty, I like sunset. And the elimination being like literally half of the episode, or at least everything before the challenge being half the episode. As I said, I don't mind it that much, but if you have to look at it from a show aspect, you probably have to rely on the contest, or at least put as much contest as you possibly can. And though I liked the elimination, I really only liked Lai's speech, and everything else was just pretty mid. And I liked Beep and Free Food. I liked them just going down, just flying to the ground, and the entire like earth like cutting in half the ground, like splitting. That scene was so cool. But besides that, there was not much to really care about. And also Ruby and Flowers thing was just so stupid. I don't even know, man. Now for this spot, it's kind of a tie between BFB 4 and BFB 8, but I think I'm going to put 8 a little bit lower because it was just a little worse. Besides that, it is actually a great episode. This is when the episodes, in like a lot of people's book, and especially mine, are just really, like actually really good. And this episode is like really like a game show. Like Donut made this show like so different. And for most of the challenges, they didn't feel like a game show besides BFB 6, but we'll do that later. But BFB 8 was like our actual like real game show, and I don't even know how to describe it, but it was really nice. And though I really like Bubble, her being bullied the entire episode, though I feel bad for Bubble, it's still a good storyline, and I really like that. Definitely highlight the episode. But most of the other teams just didn't really do things, and also I don't really like how Donut rigged like the thing, like like what Stapy said.
A bit of, what is that, bias perhaps?
Because it would have been cool to see a host up for elimination. And Stapy cheating, he didn't deserve to be eliminated. He's a nice character. He didn't deserve it. But besides that, just I like the feel to the episode, but some of the things in the episode were just not that interesting. And on to BFB4. As I said, a little bit better. When I first watched the episode, I remember I actually hated this episode. It was like my lowest of BFB, probably not BFDI, but definitely BFB. I just really didn't like it for some reason, but just rewatching it, it was actually pretty good. Like I liked like the build up. I loved like the jokes in the episode, the visuals in this episode with Black Hole sucking up all the forks spinning around people. Even though it got Lai eliminated, it's still really cool, man. And like everything leading up to that very end part with like all the music, that soundtrack at the end was like actually beautiful. And then I liked Tree and Pen like being really nervous. I thought that was funny, and I just really liked a lot of the things in this episode, and also the stupid 8-ball thing got resolved this episode, so I didn't have to deal with it, even though it wasn't even that long. But it's glad that it's still over. I like the timer in the sky. A lot of good things were introduced in this episode, but also it was just a really good episode. But time for a little bit better one.
Spongie's the largest contestant to be eliminated by 7 times.
Good to know.
Something's happening.
What's going on? I'm scared.
Nice to see you all again. I miss.
Okay, now this is definitely a jump from BFB 16 and really marks a line where these episodes go from good to amazing. Like, really good. So, first off, 4 coming back after being gone since BFB 6 was a treat. Even though 4 is not that good. In pre-split, that was definitely his prime. And also, Fiery Jr. says his famous line,
Sure about this, but I think maybe there's just a chance that you're an idiot. No, it's true.
talking about 4, I like the montages of people trying to get him back, and 4 channeling his inner John Wick, tracking everybody down to kidnap them, all the way to Eternal Algebra class, which we actually get to see this episode, and it's very visually pleasing, with it like being like real and like I don't even know how to describe the backgrounds for the Eternal Algebra class, or the exit. Very nice backgrounds, and a very nice location. But and also the debut or rejoin was very nice to see. I just love any like debut, like people like trying to convince you why they should get in, and I really like that from the episode. But besides that, it was just not even okay, just an amazing episode. But it's just when it comes to this, it's just what episode can bring the highest to the table. That's what begins to happen when you're this high. Like, if your episodes are this good, that's what it becomes. And it's a great episode, fully. Okay, I know it might be a little bit questionable putting BFB 7 above 10, but in my eyes, this episode manages to use their runtime very well, or at least focusing on the correct things. With that being a better name than that and bleh, I'm not going to say their name, being on the moon. Now, that is a reason why it's so high. I love like the flower weird like VR reality and them being on the moon. I just love anything that's space. That's why BFB 20, you're going to see in my post-split ranking that BFB 20 is lifted so high just because of them being in space. But that's for another time, obviously. But yeah, I just really liked those 2 teams on the moon, and everything on the ground was okay. Still really good, but it was okay. And the elimination was good, even though I really liked loser. It was still actually just a pretty good elimination, all things considered. And talking about that, just there wasn't much low points. And also the big explosion was cool, and I don't know why Robot Flower got hate. Like she saved them, unless the bomb wasn't actually gonna get sent through, or if they were actually able to regain control. I don't know. Weird, but yeah, another amazing episode. But now it's time for some goated episodes.
Well, holly gosh golly willikers.
How does jacknejlify make climbing stairs such a goated episode? Well, it's because they didn't focus on it that much. Here's why. So I know I'm rambling on a little bit, but Leafy rejoins, which was the best case scenario. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Leafy rejoins. That was cool to see. She becomes really good later. And oh yeah, her joining Fiery's team, the losers. It should have been utilized a little bit more, but what they did use with it, they did use it pretty well in the end, which was, nice to see. And I liked everybody being picked for who's gonna run up the stairs, and Fiery actually has to say some lines, even though it wasn't that much. He really did nothing in pre-split, to be honest. Like, poor Fiery, man. And I mean, really, everybody didn't get anything to do in pre-split. So yeah, that happens, and I really liked Bubble and Match's argument climax after being built up since BFB 8 and pretty much before that too, since Match always just didn't like him that much. And I like the rants. I like rants that like a lot, and I liked watching Flower run up the thing, murdering everybody. But then Foldy just stops them, causing Irons to be out for elimination, which is I hated Foldy after that. And that was definitely another highlight along with Bubble's thing. And like that was the episode. In just 9 minutes, it managed to pack such great things into it, and that's just why it's such a great episode. Okay, I've had to re-record this a bunch of times. Anyway, BFB 12 was a great episode. Starting off with Penn and his homies just relaxing at the start. That was such a chill scene. And I would play it out, but it is a little bit long. I don't want to use up too much of the episode, but that scene was just so good, man. It was very vibey. I don't like using that word, but it definitely was like a feeling to it that was just so chill, very nice. Then Madge gets eliminated, which she probably shouldn't have because she would have gotten a redemption arc, but I don't really care. I don't like Madge that much. So yeah, that happens. For next switch buys, which was a little bit strange, I must say. And then this is when the episode starts getting good because we get to do the Among Us prediction challenge because it basically predicted Among Us, which with somebody switching bodies in a team, and you have to find out who was swapped, who was the imposter on your team. And I love the whole premise, which makes it really unique. And I loved all the team stories since we didn't really know who was the imposter, and that's really apparent for the final team being Team Ice Cube, because everybody could have been it. Like everybody, like I thought Bartbag was it, and then Spongy gets revealed, and Spongy's angry at everybody, and just everything that happened, like everybody rambling. Fiery Jr. really made this episode great, and just overall, an amazing episode. Okay, BFB 6 is next, and oh my god, what a great episode! Like, Donut, how do you come up with such a great challenge? Okay, so basically, the episode starts off with Beat being up for elimination since they lost last episode. Roboti gets out, he goes away, whatever. And also, 4 gets killed, or eradicated, whatever you call it, by a better name than that. So he's gone out of the picture. Donut's the new host. And he comes out with like, there's a name for the game, but it's like if you look at somebody, it's like tag. It's like eye tag. I think that's the name. I don't know. It's something else, but something along the lines of, I look at you and you're it. And I just love seeing all the teams interact, like Penn making that really cool like scene, and just all the other teams like coming up with their own ideas on how to switch the Twinkle onto the other teams. I really like that about the episode. And then the two teams, Bleh and a better name than that, going up to space was really cool, and also contradicts Pie's argument in BFB 16.
The answers to those questions about 4, and yet you built a rocket to the moon to obey 4. Cool story, sis.
So yeah, I don't know what that was about. Anyway, so yeah, besides that, they go up there, then Taco comes up with like a genius plan to get Belle to look at the moon, the Twinkle comes back from the moon into Belle's eyes, which I don't know how that works since, I don't know what, maybe they were looking down at Earth, I don't know, but a little bit strange. But yeah, then Belle comes up with the master plan to go smash into, it was Eraser that comes up with the plan to get Belle to smash into the loser's cave, or basket, which gets them up for elimination. But before that happens, we get to see a very good talk between Coiny and Pin, which really cements Pin as like their own kind of character. Since BFDIA before that, she was still a good character, but like after this, Pin became like a really good character, and Coiny became a lot more mature. Just a lot of amazing things happened in this episode. And yeah, just like talking about that Coiny and Pin scene, it was beautiful. It was very good monologue from, was it a monologue? I don't know, just a good interaction. And overall, BFB 6 is a amazing episode, just coming out of nowhere, out of the blue, just like the 6th episode and being one of the best episodes. A lot of respect, very great episode, gives a lot of episodes after a lot of great potential. It's just a really good episode. It's like, please watch it. Like the top 5, please watch these episodes, okay? If you haven't watched BFB, I'd recommend it because it has so many great episodes. Now, on to the top 4. Okay, now that we're in the top 4, who will not be making it to the top 3? Well, it's BFB 1. And that's because of a few reasons, but let's just talk about the great parts of this episode. So, I remember I was writing a review and I said I actually didn't like this stuff before the challenge and like before being introduced, but that's just because I didn't like the lollipop and barf molecule teardrop thing. That was such a stupid argument. But like everything else, I forgot about it, but it was like everything else was good. I love like the first little scenes with everybody, and then just all the other interactions because it's just cool seeing all these characters that at that point we would have like never seen, like only like as background characters, but now they're becoming full-fledged characters, at least like talking and making connections, and I really like that part. And then Flower starts digging, she finds cyanide, Then she calls a black hole to go open it, which causes everything to start dying. Recovery sensors are sucked up. Then 4 comes, and he kind of fixes everything, I guess. And then the challenge is started. Everybody picks their teams. I love team picking. It's just really entertaining to see who gets picked. And Penn is last, and I don't know why he's such a cool guy. But yeah, that happens. The challenge starts, and I think that's actually the low point of the episode, because nothing much really happens. It's just like a team only gets like 30 seconds, and they just complete like the challenge immediately with like only Blab being like really entertaining. And I guess Team No Name is also pretty good. I like them. Team No Name, better name than that. But besides that, not much really happened during the challenge. So that was a little bit of a low point. But everything else in this episode was actually really good. And for like a season opener, season premiere, it does really good its job. I like how long it is. It helps you like really know characters, really know what they're building up. And yeah, that's why it's so good. But also just the low points keep it from being higher. Okay, we are officially in the top 3, and if you didn't know, there is a really big trilogy that's coming up, because they're the only ones I haven't ranked yet. Now, out of that trilogy, which one do you think is the least best? Because like these are literally the best. Think, and if your answers are BFB 15, you are correct. And I think this is pretty obvious since the others are like double the runtime of it. But just for like the amount of time this episode has, it does a lot of great. And also the main thing I love this episode is the whole like feeling of like everything being destroyed and everybody having to like come together to find each other, because they're all scattered out throughout the BFB area, just everywhere, and all the lava's there. And I really like that, which is why it's literally called Floor's Lava. Yeah, that would have been a cool challenge. But yeah, so basically the episode starts off with blabbing out for elimination, and that might be the best elimination. I don't know, it's either Lies or that one. No, it's probably this one, because I really like the happy thought. It's a really it's a very unique prize, because it's something physical, and they use it in BFB 30, which is pretty cool, but that's later, of course. So yeah, great prize. Then Dora gets eliminated pretty obviously. Like, I like Dora, but I mean, it's no surprise why she got eliminated over like the other characters, even though I wish it was Ice Cube. I don't know why Ice Cube gets so much love. So yeah, elimination happens. Ford tells everybody to make their way to him. A lot of people die, and the few people that survive make it, and then it all comes down to Coiny, Naily, and Flower, and they're running, and they just go over Naily the whole time, which is just kind of mean. But the things I really liked about the episode are Fiery and Leafy's thing with like Needle trying to like stop all the terrible things from happening. Then at the very end of the episode, Fiery tells everybody that Leafy stole Dream Island, and then everybody hates her again. And then the clock comes back because Ford brought him back, and just like the whole after like challenge like scene is just really nice. And in the end, top 5 is not bad. So, second place goes to BFB 13. And I know a lot of people would put this at number 1, or some people would, but I think it does get beaten out by the one above it. But that's okay, because this episode is the best setup episode in BFDI history. Like, it does so good at setting up the next episode. Like, I'll just say it, BFB 14. But it's just really good at getting the plots started so that BFB 14 can finish. So it's a really good first parter to the 2-part series. So I really like that about it. And I like how there's like no elimination at the end, because it leads into the next episode, obviously. And I like all the teams like interacting, coming up with plans on how they're actually going to complete the challenge, with Golf Ball just getting their spaceship from space and digging down, and Iance and a bunch of other teams just went into a hole, which I guess also worked. And like everybody else just didn't even try. Like everybody else just like stayed on like the surface and just hope something good would happen. But not talking about the challenge, I really like the before intro thing where like everybody finally begins to turn on Book, or they see that Book is actually not that good of a person. Well, at least Icy does. And also Saw being back, which I don't really care for much, or I don't really care for Saw that much, but I like them. They're a nice character. And I just like the dialogue in the first thing. And then it ties back to the end where people actually do start turning on Book, like Gady, who doesn't like Book that much and criticizes them, which helps Book try to be a better person, which she does in the next episode. And that's basically the episode. And there was the elimination that did happen at the start, but it was just okay. And the only thing to talk about was just how other teams were cool, like Golf Ball's team. I think my favorite was Ions because Snowball actually got some more screen time, and also I just really like all the people in Ions. But there isn't much to talk about unless we talk about the next episode. But before I do that, overall, this is an amazing episode. There's so much great content in it. It's just every almost every scene is just really intriguing and good. And I can see why a lot of people have this as their number one. And this is number one. BFB 14 is not the best of the entirety of BFDI, but easily BFB, and it's probably third place in the entirety best of in the best of the entirety of BFDI. It is such a great episode. I almost love every single moment of it. Okay, so first off, it starts off with a lot of people just looking for the emeralds, Free Food literally doing nothing and faking it, and Carrie animates, which is really fun to see. Then more people just keep going. Golf Ball finds the emerald, which causes Ions not to find the emerald because they don't like Golf Ball and they just run away from them, which leads Barry and that to be safe. We then see Team Ice Cube in the inverted planet. They talk a little bit, and then after Spongy starts jumping in the pool a lot, it causes the lava apocalypse to start. And they have to escape, which causes half their team to die with in the big explosion just to the lava. Spongy goes away in a jet. Gelatin and Barf Bag fly up to the surface, and Naily gets knocked into the hole with Beep that's going into the acid, which they collide. Then Rocky gets enough Barf to break through the ground, and they get to Golf Ball's factory, which we don't know it's Golf Ball's factory yet. We go back up to the surface, and Golf Ball's not letting Ions get through the actual ground because they just do not want to be near Golf Ball. So they're just stuck underground. And then Golf Ball realizes that somebody's trying to break into their factory, so they leave Ions alone. Ions is able to escape, which causes the lava to come from the hole, creating the big lava apocalypse. It begins to start. And and also, Team Ice Cube is safe. So that was something. Beep then manages to break through. They fall into Golf Ball's factory as the lava begins to rise to the ground. And only Woody is able to escape into the deprecated garbage chute, which leads him into Four's eyeball, which is a little bit strange. And after that, Team Blood is actually up for elimination. And that's the episode. Just full of action with the full lava apocalypse digging through the ground and trying to find the emeralds, which is like Minecraft, and I really like Minecraft. It's just this episode is just so good. It has so much building up the plot, so many things happening, not even including what I talked about, or I haven't even talked about this, but the book thing with her actually saving Ice Cube and Taco, which she was trying to be better to them, and she actually finally did. So that was cool. And yeah, that's basically the episode. Anyway, here's the list, which actually looks better. And thank you if you made it this far. I know I ramble a lot while I'm talking, but I just really like these episodes. And I just love BFB. I love ranking BFDI. And there's only one more season to rank after this, which is BFB Post Split. So I guess stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's the end of the episode.